At the start of the movie, after 60 years, in the Temple of Sublime Truth, the responsibility of protecting the Scroll of Truth was being passed on from the current master to a young monk. When the ceremony was finished and they went out, the master was shot and killed. The attackers were German soldiers led by Colonel Strucker. The young monk who is the successor fought the soldiers. The young monk was shot by Strucker and fell off a cliff. 60 years later, a pickpocket named Carr is seen surveying the commuters in the subway. Then he went about stealing from a couple of commuters. Unfortunately, one of his victims was a law enforcement officer that cuffed him. But he was able to get himself free and ran away. Above ground, the monk was being watched closely by a group of men. He saw them, ran and headed straight down to the subway with pursuers in tow. The group of men went after the monk in the subway. Carr was also being pursued by police officers. A little girl who was with her mother accidentally got pushed into the tracks due to the commotion. The monk jumped into the tracks to help. Carr also stopped and jumped into the tracks. Working together, they were able to free the little girl safely. Before Carr and the monk parted ways, Carr was able to steal the scroll. Carr got ambushed by a couple of men. He was brought to the group's hideout and presented to their leader, Mr. Funktastic. Carr was told that he needs to pay a portion of his activity to them, like 60% of what he had stolen. As a sign of good faith, he offered Mr. Funktastic the scroll, but he did not have interest in it and one of his crew threw it away. The monk was able to retrieve the scroll. He saw Carr fighting off Mr. Funktastic and some of his men. When the monk looked up where Carr was fighting, he remembered what the master told him. One of the prophecies for the successor would be to defeat an army of enemies while a flock of cranes circled above. Carr was allowed to leave with a warning. The nameless monk was able to track down where Carr lives. He stayed in Carr's place for the night. He also saw Carr practicing his fighting skills by following the moves in a movie. Jade chanced upon Carr and the monk. She asked Carr if he can return the necklace which she lost when she was fighting him the other day. Their talk was cut short when a group of mercenaries spotted the nameless monk, which forced him to run off. Carr also ran away and was able to keep up with the monk, with Strucker's men at their heels. Carr and the nameless monk ran into one of the buildings. They were able to evade their pursuers. The place they ran into was also a shelter for a group of monks. The leader of the monks told the nameless monk that there is someone among the young monks who is a good candidate as a guardian of the scroll. Carr and the nameless monk left afterwards. As a token of gratitude for Carr's help, the nameless monk trained Carr in an abandoned warehouse. The nameless monk showed and taught Carr what he knows. Carr saw the fighting skills of the nameless monk. Unfortunately, Strucker's group was able to find them. Strucker's mercenaries attacked them with force. The nameless monk gave Carr the bag that contains the scroll and told him not to lose it. One of the mercenaries got into a fight with Carr. Carr almost fell off the top of the building, which resulted in him accidentally losing the scroll when it fell off the rooftop. Nina, who is the granddaughter of Strucker, was able to retrieve the scroll. The nameless monk helped Carr to safety. He was about to leave, but the nameless monk asked him if he wants to know the truth. He told Carr who and why the men were after him. When Carr learned the who and the why, he told the nameless monk that he should have just let him die and saved the scroll. But the nameless monk told Carr that he placed great value on Carr's life. What Strucker's group got was the recipe for noodle soup. The nameless monk told Carr that the scroll is on his body, in his soul. He told Carr that he who protects the scroll is protected by it. Carr and the nameless monk reached the Golden Palace. Unfortunately, they found the lifeless body of Mr. Kojima. Because of the incident, the nameless monk told Carr to go somewhere safe and forget about what happened. But Carr went after him. He went to the place where the other monks were staying. There Carr found the nameless monk. He told the nameless monk that he can't do it alone. But Nina and his men arrived. One of the young monks had betrayed them and revealed their whereabouts. Carr and the nameless monk were able to elude Nina via a secret passage. They went to the address and a note that Jade left in the Golden Palace. Via an open upper-level window, Carr was able to enter the house where they saw Jade. The nameless monk also went into the house and met Jade and Carr. The nameless monk thinks that 2 of the 3 prophecies had now been fulfilled, which is he will battle for love in the Palace of Jade. Nina and his men arrived at her place. They took the nameless monk and ignored Car and Jade. Jade recognized Nina, and she told Car where they would have taken the nameless monk. Nina scanned the markings that were tattooed on the nameless monk. Strucker started to read the scanned verses of the scroll. A car was driven into the place where the nameless monk was being held, and was remotely detonated, killing most of Strucker's men with the blast. Car and Jade used the underground water main to infiltrate the building. After reading verses from the scroll, Strucker regained his youth. But when he was about to read the rest, he realized that the last verse was missing. Strucker asked him where the last verse is. The nameless monk told him that he memorized it, so that if someone like Strucker managed to get this far, the verses won't be complete. Strucker turned on a machine that can extract information from the mind, and the onrush of water in the water main carried away Car. Continuing on her own, Jade was intercepted in the sewers by Nina. They fought each other. Jade was able to break Nina's leg, and then she killed her by snapping her neck. Strucker strapped the nameless monk in. Car went after Strucker, but he was stopped in midair and sent crashing to devices, causing the nameless monk to be freed. Strucker and the nameless monk fought for a bit. Car also helped out in fighting Strucker and was saved by the monk from being impaled when he was thrown by Strucker. Strucker was able to find Car and the nameless monk, and the fighting continued. Strucker threw Car, and building materials collapsed on him. Metal poles were also used as their weapons. The remaining monks were set free by Jade. Car rejoined the fight, but Strucker managed to get hold of him and asked the nameless monk to give the last verse or he will drop Car from the building. Car was able to free himself. The nameless monk tried to save Strucker from falling off the building, but Strucker said he will never change, and lost his grip on the pole and fell into the electrical lines. They found Jade together with the monks that she had freed. The nameless monk told Car that when Car rescued them, he had fulfilled the third prophecy. The texts of the scroll inscripted on the nameless monk were transferred to Car, but Strucker was still alive and shot at them. Jade went into the line of fire to shield them and she got shot. Strucker shot at Car a couple of times when Car ran to him, but he was able to avoid the bullets. Strucker died when a statue fell on him. When Car checked out Jade, he saw markings on her. The nameless monk told Car that both he and Jade had fulfilled the prophecies. Jade did not die and he showed Car the bullet she was able to catch. In the end, both Car and Jade became the guardians of the scroll. He told each of them a piece of the last verse. The nameless monk left, and they told him to enjoy his vacation.